Gilg J as Gilg Nerach.
As masort as yn gold taiach rysher Claare na Gael as bevail am siwisialdige. I'm Robert Cutting-Carswell, Robert a Carslach.
Oh, Bobby Bob.
And it's my pleasure to present this bilingual programme Claare na Gael in the English language as Siuil and in the Manx Gaelic Chinian Amera, the mother tongue of Alun Vannin, the Isle of Man. As Bannacht and Durish, well, after a rather uncertain recital of the island's history in the 1300s, David Robertson jumped forward and back in giving us a review of the Manx history for that century. We've now come to the arrival on the Manx scene of the Stanley family in 1405. To Arthur Holmwood, der high kibben through Cree Lucy Westenra. To Arthur as an Fairly Seward, as Quincy Morris, as an Oliver Helsing, Pagan, de wel Lucy nish eg she for Yerahall. Ni I de wel Monachan a Chingus ek nish ragan rish a Chorbeck. We'll start with the song that went AWOL last time because I'd stupidly put it in the wrong place, and that's a song called Pad the Road Wi Me, performed by Scottish band MALINKY. Tashu geestiach rish radio banning, stashu narashun. Scolar scalia mach, why doolish Alun Vannin.
Says I, my dearest Molly, come let us fix the time when ye and I will married be and wedlock us combine. When ye and I get married, love, right happy we will be. For ye are the bonny lassie, let's depart the road with me.
Depart the road we you, sir, called 1,000 coming on. Besides my aged parents, had not a girl but one. Besides my aged parents, had not a girl but me. So know the bonny lassie, that's the path the road with me.
Oh, never mind cold winter, love, the spring will follow on. Come sit ye down beside me and I'll sing you a nice song. I'll sing you a nice song while I diddle ye on my knee. For you're the bonny lassie, that's the path the road with me.
The other lads that I do have, they proved of cruel mind. They beat me and badgers me and proved to be unkind. They beat me and badgers me and guard me through the day. But better get my love to them to part the road away.
Lassie love, I never play your man. It's on my honest fellows' life, I swear all day may have. I'll busky brow and fairer, so ye could bear the grey, as the bellow of the country round to part the road with me. So she has done the hosen shoe to the Cardiff game, and long a morning that couple were maiden. And lang in the morning her troubles were set free. For she's the bonny lassie that's to part the road with me.
She's the bonny lassie that's to part the road with me.
She's the bonny lassie that's to part the road with me.
Scottish band MALINKY pleased to find the bonny lass to pat the road with me. And David Robertson tells us that the Isle of Man was, in the 6th year of the reign, and this is of Henry IV, conferred on Sir John Stanley for life. And soon afterwards, AD 1406, that's the following year, he enjoyed a new and ample grant, which extended to his heirs and successors. And a footnote tells us that this grant contained the royalties and manorial rights of the Isle as amply as any former lord had enjoyed them, with the patronage of the bishopric and the advowson of all other ecclesiastical benefices. Now, the word advowson, recorded from Middle English, from via French, I think, in the sense of patronage of a religious house or benefice, and comes ultimately from the Latin advocare, to summon. And an advowson is the right of a patron, otherwise called an avowee, to present to the ecclesiastical authorities a nominee for appointment to a vacant church living, and as we heard, the bishopric as well. This was known as a presentation, from the Latin jus praesentandi, the right of presenting. But it also came with an obligation to defend that living and speak up for it if it became necessary. Cach as olju, Dénishin na rauwe cúnid cajrik van de lai, mar seishin a grenia harshin edin, as a chumme sjerget. Ach, manne seiltach as caura, Jane cúnid for de rail Harry de Brech. Henk van Helsing as huggy a lauwer Gael Arthur as doorteirish, as nish Arthur machara, ma Meillionen, na velle leit dau. Henk an airtist en vrees aglach gouds gawe lauwe gaan dunje so lau eggesen. As troggle soesigus na meilen egge doortje, leit de banny gios de velu a chorden verninem an animekrish, as dus she. Hugge a lauwen gielen an alu, as look de corrigion a chliw, renne koor is tamelt de vech. Gouds verschingen en shadow gin Gael. Tre hoggen is geon door van Helsingrish, as nishmilja, fodde you cor pegji, gin pege na meilen maru ek mabalt, maar de berg is giri, de berg a sonderij. Son gene jowl fachedach is nish. Now, we've heard several Breton songs about little hens in Claare Gael, and here is the Breton band EBEN, or perhaps EBEN, I'm not quite sure, EBEN, and they sing yet another one. This is a yarig, and it's a tam craze, which is part of a dance suite. No, in fact, we have EBEN later, another one in the wrong place. This is SIMONE, ALVES and YANN GOURVIL.
Martolod, Juan, la 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 la, martolod, Juan, Yvonne de viager.
Busco
Belén de cette connaissance, j'ai Belén de cette connaissance. Il en est der marhat och genom alla de raina der marhat och choisir bizawer. Och choisir bizawer och choisir bizawer, choisir bizawer.
Now, the city name of Lorient reflects its trade links with the east, so that version of the traditional Breton song Tri martolod en Oriant, Three Sailors of Lorient, is quite opposite there. SIMONE, ALVES and YANN GOURVIL. Genelli na sóide rid éigi de brech farachtan. Gené na sóide tí neau varú a jowl. Sé marú firneach yíish as an animex merish. Ren Arthur CROMLECH as huggy peggy, as esh wrenchin coreshin as Quincy machas and tai meriu. Ren an always mish sow jay bear a chibbin, as an ringy faggot sa chorp. Esh wrenchin gyara jay a kiaull, as wrenchin nina beel les garlied. Wrenchin te dunt a coffin lie, wrenchin scrod a shees fargal a coffin, as lugged an chumsach a niece a coojain, henkshin vai. Tre hug an alwa doris fo glass, hugge an agus Arthur. Chow mui, millish van air, van green saljain as van nienly goiler as feijin der our cledden e djur a woolje les bingus elia. Vertatnius as ginless as she de chully wall, no der our shingen heen eg fei rare unchow a skiel, as vashin bogoil, ni ai der our lesh boga, sharu as millish. Now, Robertson quotes that the grant of the kingship to Sir John Stanley and his heirs was to be held of the Crown of England by liege homage, and the service of rendering to the English monarchs 2 falcons on their coronation. And liege homage refers to a ceremony in which one ruler or king pledges loyalty and services to another. And Robertson concludes chapter 4 now. By this liberality of Henry IV, Sir John Stanley and his descendants obtained a plenitude of regal power and dignity. Nor was this grant inauspicious to the Manx nation. It doesn't present a gloomy nature of the turbulence of heroes or the devastation of conquerors, but a record of the people limiting the prerogative of their kings, combating the despotism of their governors, and establishing a form of legislation which, notwithstanding its imperfections, is to this day revered as the sacred constitution of the country. SHEILA CORKILL on fiddle with a firm bass drone from Charles ALWAY on cello there. That was Juan Nan's reel, Car Juan Nan. Stasiwn yn asiwn, sien na jarw radio fanim, as yn siot as yw geisiach rys Claare na Gael. Mish Robert gyda'n corswal, Rob na corslach.
Did the ever hear tell of old Bobby Bob?
Ta immer die Claare en Radio Vanning rechlaasjen through den chraman agert in het ege Radio Vanning. Schachten lukt au guller skilje maken geert. As de Claare Gael in de gieten door en de Claare jes jint maar podcasten wist er gedden nasty in het ege Radio Vanning, na through den reich de podcast joish, as utsen regedden through de Apple Podcasts, Amazon Audible, Spotify, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, na Alexa. And so on to Robertson's Chapter 5, a review of the Manks History from the accession of the House of Stanley to the revestment of the royalty of the Isle in the British Crown. Before I proceed to enumerate the princes of the Stanley line, says Robertson, it may not be improper to observe that their personal history, except in a few instances, is unconnected with the public transactions of the island. Being subjects of England, they generally resided in that country, and, so long as their lieutenants remitted the revenues of the kingdom, they supinely acquiesced in their administration. For more than 3 centuries, this family enjoyed the regal government of man, yet, in so long a period, few of them possessed the ambition or generosity to visit their subjects, and when they conferred this honour, either their interests in the island were threatened, or their personal safety in England endangered. Rosh Merenshin Glacier Siuil dúirt van Helsing. Nish mechurgen, ta ongeim de hoverein jint, fair jousen smoe worrig dingen heen. Ach, ta over smoe maarn, de gedden maag eschen en cruwe trimsje Shoh ein as de hoor fo choshe. Ta lieden hem fod much gaeter, ach, she dogel yauri, as dolly, as te gau ongi, as pian. Nach jinsje wil je koenaliam? Tashin nunzige de grel ul je jin, ne wel shen mote? As fair shen, ne wel shen vagen de kormijn? Te, as ne wel shen gelden de hanachten lesh, der een derre jay, creer bi, der een jerre jay, creer bi geshadow. Kach rare shell gaushin a lauwege, as van gelden courage. Esch doort den allo gaas washin gulroin. De van tre Shoh, ni shu chit machweel, as nimmage golgenair eg shacher a chlag, merish machara John. Nim corquira de fair elia, as de jow as chanel enyo or ufos. Our Cornish band The Changing Room sing a song by Tanya Britton, and this is a version of it in the Cornish language. It's about the fishing, and it calls on the crew to row and row, Roev's a Roev.
Gans a lano hos in hagen train porth, and roso then with a haze, and dreoth and leoborth a gonan a borth hagen treda dor a haze. Warn kaithes a higans hi anstelin dorn, ni wellis with tekter som per. He war in land west a mi orth and est, hagen treddon dor a ver. Panen de voren le quattri stov in de putra janges gans felians and frost. Tot refugen het besalta is den in me sanse virit in I ruglor et ros. Hagen treddon dor. Groan it to thens the Seville ponds, defense nar ag welsens o cref, and dregans and archans I benin dan hol, ag yn tredda dor sef. Panen de voren le quattri gesov in de buftra chances gan strelians yn ffros. Bodred yw gynhed bes a daeth enyn mes amser ddirig dyn I rwglor y dros. Pan mynd e fod yn le watrig y sofyn de bwtra y janges gan strelians yn ffros. Mae pel yw chlwdi o ffris ni fyd I bons ni dren drapan nhw sathwar e fros. Drag yn dreddod dor a reis. Halemyn mae trolerach yn est bys yn west. A moes yw oen cadeg. Mes oes wed y gas a di berth yn di'r dre. Hag yn dreddad o'r a ffreg. Hag yn dreddad o'r a ffreg.
The Changing Room from Cornwall with Tanya Britton's song about the fishing groves a Roev. Bim merlw de yin mach ulju yn oferain as de heilsich amach na plananain. Mach ara John, tar mer yn de valia, son tamwren em rahai co chorlacha as fuddius cwnoliam. Noch, nim Gael de holgas Amsterdam, ach higam rish in de verach, as esch ni a shelvoerain goiltayacht. Ach haach bi moerain em de grey, de bi vis jouish na vis rienu as na vis goil alje. Esch bi a gelden jintrich heli assen no, son ta dogger aglach roin, as cat in a cadenain een sock genaiden dun taan bak rish. As nish cabdal shen de grey cabdal shachjeg, G len a fairly Seward Claare. Trerenkshin a Tayech Berkeley, Chur van Helsing, Chelgram Force and Shen a hon. Chits a train, Jonathan and Switby, Nayach scan Shoil, Mina Harker. Van allu jint mach, a wenser mina yindesach shen, door they, tan a pearl mastam rein. Teach it, a chanodum's few. Sir John Stanley, says Robertson, on whom the munificence of Henry IV had conferred the royalty of this island, died in 1414 and was succeeded by his son, Sir John Stanley, a man of a politic and penetrating genius. During the reign of his predecessor, the island paid him homage as heir apparent, and after his father's decease, the anarchy of the state and the discontents of his new subjects again forced him to visit his kingdom. Previous to this period, the laws of the island resided in the breasts of their deemsters. Now the deemsters committed the unwritten law to memory, and the application of it was known as breast law. And this is probably why being a deemster ran in families, particularly the Christians of Milltown, so laws were passed down through family generations. However, Sir John Stanley wanted written laws so as to secure his own power, rather than leaving it to the uncertainty of what a deemster might or might not remember, perhaps what a deemster might even choose to give as breast law, which might be not to the Lord's favour. Now, this is an arrangement by Michael McGlynn of the Irish song Siuil Arún, sung by Lucy Champion with the vocal ensemble ANUNA.
I wish I were on yonder hill, 'tis there I'd sit and cry my fill, and every tear would turn a mill. I Shoh, shoh, shoelaru, shuga sorak, shuga kyun, shuga darsag seliyam, shuga darsag seliyam.
Lucy Champion with ANUNA and the traditional Irish song Siuil Arún, literally walk my love. So she's saying go my love, upset as she is that the man she loves is going off for a soldier. Now we've seen before that David Robertson, whilst being an officer of the Crown, has a perhaps rather jaundiced view of what royalty is and how it operates. He's all for the rule of law, but not necessarily under a monarchical system, it seems, and perhaps it shows again here. Under the pretext of witnessing the promulgation of these, and these were now Sir John Stanley's written laws rather than the Deemster's press laws, but, says Robertson, with the real design of asserting his prerogative and intimidating the vulgar by display of majesty, he convened in 1417 the whole body of the people at the Tynwald. As King of Man, he was invested with the insignia of royalty. The diadem flamed on his brow, and the regal mantle flowed in all its splendour. On the summit of the mount was placed a chair of state, canopied with crimson velvet, and richly embroidered with gold. In this chair he was enthroned, his face fronting the east, and a sword in his hand pointed towards heaven. Signed ye golgus a taieds machara John. Signed the chit na quail leg a stasiwn. Gin corchelgram gi en route, de valley gin durlus on shen. Treven schachter a courage gawe cab an de hay, chas vi giwe, dinche daumachon lior lau, ginteg Jonathan Harker, treve ha moor, as huggy dau cob Klaus Grutje, commas je lior lau benaisha Harker on Switby. Gin goilad Shoh doche, as gin stu deres my jow. Tret am yrjit rish be fis maya der ulion an yin, as fodmudge na share esh gol toyach der an vrail te sein. Gin freo sausjad, son on dau te moerain tasje. Be femed der ulio chredued, rus as wel lid a chiel chonit jen lid shen ved jew. Na vis gul inch and Shoh. As hugge loud de trom chushach, as de trom chushach vat de faber en gas ve lord, Fuddy the jinnad soos toyach the jerra eds, as eg imedy firelia. Na fuddy the jinny boola mach clag besh na nyau veru, ta shul and sail. And that's the Welsh band CROMLECH, playing one of my favourite Welsh dance tunes, Meillionen, the Clover.
A nation station, Manx Radio.
Siw geistachris stasiwn yn asiwn radio fanning na siodiw Claare na Gael. Mer yn pyn Robert Cutting Carswell, Robert y Carslach.
Have you heard tell of owl Bobby Bob?
Gin liai uliw, tam I gwiord, son len sgan sioile. Tawus chwmwl gile yn jay uliw na ni'n sio chwech, na fel sien mor te? Te. Esh, nimod gin trwyd uliw na rydyn sio a cheilia tret asyn chit cwjach. Esh renne erlwyd de Gael, as tamelt beg na Stanley, dimmen ne Sewell gestred Liverpool. Hai mi redem gus Paddington, bol renk mi mus kweg min a jeg rosh me denken trains jach on. Ren a chonnel liai Sewell an osh taruch kajen neg urdenen as trainen roshen, as van mi gold toyach genachten njau eishach. Al de jinnen liga sham a goldach. Tre ren beneg as edin villishek as isjin den deisach, gold kesmet hum, as lug shilja bew doorti, a fairly Seward na wel. As shape benasje haker shoe dreger mi chilirach, as a sen renny shina doos allow. Va nem meriw, by kunta Lucy wach wien, ach, renny square by dol tajamach. David Robertson is describing the 1417 Tynwald with Sir John Stanley in attendance. His deemsters sat before him, and on the higher circle his barons and beneficed men. On the middle circle were seated the 24 keys, then styled the worthiest men in the land, and the lower circle the knights, esquires, and yeomen, while the commons stood without the circuit of the hill, with 3 clerks in their surplices. And there's a footnote which says, Tynwald is derived from the Danish words ting, a court of justice, and wald, fenced. Well, anyway, he says the hill was guarded by the coroners and moors armed with their swords and axes, and a proclamation was issued by the coroner of Glenfaber denouncing those who would, be in the time of Tynwald, murmur in the king's presence. Accordingly, the people waited with an awful silence the future fate of their nation, in the promulgation of those laws which had for so many years been industrially concealed from them. Now here Donald Ross and William Burnett lead the audience in a Scottish Gaelic song about the lads of the fishing Bailich na Uiscí. song written by Donald Morrison from Lewis and sung by Donald Ross and William Burnett. Donald Ross was from Ullapool, the shores of Loch Broom, but I've not been able to trace William Burnett. And so we're still not done with the Tynwald ceremony of 1417, and Robertson continues. The venerable Deemsters then rising, with an audible voice alternately published to this assembly several laws, which, though more an assertion of the king's prerogative than a declaration of the rights of his subjects, were received by the people with reiterated acclamations. Having thus, as he fondly imagined, established his prerogative on a permanent basis, he returned to England, and the people, no longer dazzled or intimidated by the splendour of royalty, revolted against the laws they had so recently accepted. Their turbulence once more compelled him to visit his kingdom. On his arrival, another convention was summoned in 1422 at the Tynwald, and in the same year a third assembly of the people was appointed at Castle Rushen. The laws which were then framed by a bolder assertion and extension of prerogative seemed solely intended to awe the nation into greater subjection. Henk Jurgit blew scalia mach herish en edenek. Ons acht enjach rennen Jurgit Henkus na leggen en empien, korren justjen egnen esch. Nod en freigert gin vogel wei de shen esch. Gauw me a skudlach ek. Vergoilstjach grij skriwi, as heishin ljorische chorus voor hollow, gestreed Fenchurch. Lug dau korchelgram gusaventayem, de reges on schemer hai is schemer ljabach, de wei jinter luchelirach, son benai shahaka. Ons trei rengshin. Verfissek de jaru den tai benrich van bol, ach, dat mi fagen de denke li kosha bibberni, tre heishins jach on. Din si daw de jinnachi, moba kiedeg, chit ons tamelt beg as me chemers studeres, nod rau moerenek de grij. Me so, Shoh mish, korkill en entreles ons de gilaen phonograph gouds tammy furach dan uri. Gouds nish, herauke de jen na peberen, deg van Helsing mahon, ge de wellet in life lit Rome. Now, I gave an introduction to the band EBEN before, and here they are from Brittany, singing about a little hen yarig. As I said, it's a tam craze from a suite of Breton dances.
Dans sa galonde, si la bonbon et bonbon là, toujours là comme ça. C'est évident, malaké, triouer la bouche, si on savait. C'est évident, malaké, triouer la bouche, si on savait. Titi de la lit, tante de la laine, chanson mignonne, dans sa galonde, si la bonbon et bonbon là, toujours là comme ça. Ni j'ai de Maya, nous ont képé, nos itisquets. Ni j'ai de Maya, nous ont képé, nos itisquets. Titi de la lit, tante de la laine, chanson mignonne, violette. Dans sa galonde, si la bonbon et bonbon là, toujours là comme ça. Chanson mignonne, dans sa galonde, si la bonbon et bonbon là, toujours là comme ça. Trai la rinde, with varandoua, galverine, piti meya. Trai la rinde, with varandoua, galverine, piti meya. Titi de la ligne, tante de la laine, chanson mignonne, violette, dans sa galonde, si la bonbon et bonbon là, toujours là comme ça. Arrogue et grue, elle n'arrive de rien, mais ce que j'en mets, c'est m'arrêter de me faire. Arrogue et grue, elle n'arrive de rien, mais ce que j'en mets, chanson mignonne, violet, dans sa galonne, Cécile à bonbon, et bonbon là, toujours là comme ça. Meus que jamais scavé me faire, navarre mort, navarre doigt. Meus que jamais scavé ma femme, navarre mort, navarre doigt. Titine la lit, tourne la laine, chanson mignonne, violet, dans sa galonne, Cécile à bonbon, et bonbon là, toujours là comme ça.
Breton song Yarig, the Little Hen, sung by the band EBEN. Sain thou cor ori goel sim as ddynach, dy bi cer daw liad. Chynel ffiseg creu choleachach dy tre, na creu'n cwrm fys ry ynwain. Sain thou goel cyreil, nach jinnam cor alori. Shochish. Now, Sir John Stanley, the second to hold the kingship of Man, has, says Robertson, been trying, but not apparently completely successfully, to overawe his Manx subjects with his written laws in 1417 and then twice in 1422 when he made some more laws. These, says David Robertson, he commanded to be recorded, and flattering himself that he had now subdued what he deemed the presumption of the people, again hastened to England. As a sentashin a jitgus Jeran Claare Shorish. It's Christy D next with 2 hours of the best chill-out music for your Sunday evening between 7 and 9. And at 9, Judith Leigh will be here with Sundown through into the early hours of Monday morning. We close this time with music by Barul and their arrangement of the tune from my song Irina Grania, The Rising of the Sun. Ach, Shananish, and so until the next time, this is Robert Cutting Carswell, Robert a Carslach.
Old Bobby Bob.
Wishing you a very good night eve. I'm a Crieri, as Ortselier, as Meillionen shared you will you.